March 29th. If Two and a Half Men were really about two guys and their half a friend, I would totally watch it. March 30th. Well, tonight was the end of an era in our family. For the past few years, Sophie has pretended to believe in the Easter Bunny because she figured that my parents would bring her more candy if they thought she actually believed in him. But tonight, when my dad came home from the grocery store, my sister and I were helping to unpack the bags, and Sophie took out some sacks, of Easter candy. And before she could put them back, my mom saw her and said, "Well, Sophie, I guess it's time you knew. There is no Easter Bunny. We're the ones who bring you the candy." And Sophie sighed and said, "Yeah, I know. I've known for a while now." And my mom said, "Oh, good. We were actually getting kind of worried about having an 8-year-old who believed in the Easter Bunny." March 31st. Ate some Easter candy today. My least favorite Easter candy has to be the Peep. Every year I eat half of one, and then I remember that eating a Peep is sort of like eating an enormous, sugary booger rolled in sand. I pointed that out to Sophie this morning and asked if she wanted to trade any of her candy for my Peeps, and she said, "Well, no, not now that you said that booger thing." April 1st. Today in math, Doug Spivak raised his hand and said, "May I be excused? I wet my pants." And sure enough, his pants were soaking wet. And Mrs. Kaplan said, "Goodness, Douglas, of course." And then Doug said, "April Fools, it's just water." And Mrs. Kaplan said, "Yes, but your pants are still soaking wet." And Doug stood there for a second, then said, "Oh, yeah." And Mrs. Kaplan just sighed and said, "Go dry yourself off." April 2nd. After English class today, Mrs. White asked me to stay behind. She's in charge of the school play, and she said she thought I'd be perfect for it. I told her I wasn't really interested, and then she told me that only 2 boys have signed up for the play this year, and she needs at least 4 more. And then she pointed out that my grades this quarter have been pretty lousy, because I kind of skipped reading The Scarlet Letter, and then tried to make up for it by watching the movie, but I actually rented The Scarlet Pimpernel instead. There's a big difference between the two. And then she said how much she'd hate to see me have to do summer school, and that my being in the play might make her feel like accidentally increasing my grade a little. So I said yes. I think I got blackmailed today by a teacher. I didn't even know they were allowed to do that. April 3rd. So today I had my audition for the play. It's called Our Town, and we all did a scene as the main character, George. The play's about how George falls in love with a girl named Emily, and she dies. Spoiler alert, sorry. And in order to get a small part, I tried to be as bad an actor as I could. But what I forgot was 3 of the other guys also didn't want to be there, so they did even worse. Ben Irvin pretended he didn't understand how scripts work, so he kept reading his character name at the beginning of his lines, saying things like, "George, hello," and "George, thank you." Mike Fine pretended he had stuttered for his whole audition, and Noah Simmons whispered all his lines, which drove Miss Engel nuts. The cast list goes up tomorrow. I really want to just be like, townsperson number 2, but really, so long as I'm not George, I'll be happy. April 4th. Well, the list is up, and I'm George. Ugh. Meanwhile, one of the guys who actually wanted to be in the play was so angry that I got the part that he quit. Miss Engel said that was okay, and she'll recast his part with a girl, so the townsperson named Sam is now called Samantha. April 5th. Today, Jay Shepard, who's this huge, hulking kid in our grade, bumped into me in the hallway twice. I couldn't figure out until I remembered that Jay's girlfriend, Abigail Wallace, is playing Emily, who I kissed during the play. So I guess Jay is jealous. The funny part is, I don't even like Abigail. She always smells like onions and she's got a lazy eye. So when you talk to her, it's like, look, she's looking at someone who's behind a little to the left of you. It's creepy. Although, I guess I can't tell Jay that. April 8th. Today we had the first read-through of the play. It was okay, I guess, except that Jay Shepard sat in the audience staring at me the whole time, which kind of made it hard to concentrate on the play. I was really nervous when it came to the part where Abigail and I are supposed to kiss, but I guess Abigail didn't want to kiss me either, because instead of doing it, she just said, "Mwah." I was worried that Miss Engel would stop and make us actually do it, but she said it was fine if Abigail didn't want to kiss me every time in rehearsal. And Abigail blurted out, "Oh, good." I was relieved, too, but I kind of wish she hadn't said it quite so quickly. Meanwhile, Mike Fine's no longer in the play because he fell off his bike and broke his collarbone. Miss Engel gave his part to another one of the girls, so the character of Jo is now Josephine.